All right, everyone, welcome back into another PGA DFS video. Going to be getting into the round 1 recap and then the round 2 showdown picks, as well as giving you guys who is most likely to win the tournament. Give you a hint, the guy that's won it before. Yeah, good stuff from Jordan, good stuff from Louis Oosthuizen as well. It's looking like the 9-5 favorite has a really good shot to win. That is going to be Jordan. But just kind of want to recap some storylines that took place in round 1. So round 1, really Bryson stole the show once again with his little driver interview. Kind of an interesting one there. I don't know if you guys saw that, but definitely an interesting listen. If you haven't, you could easily search it on Twitter and find it. Pretty much he was complaining about his driver face. And I don't know if like he gets any say in the new technology and whatnot, or what goes on his driver. You know, some of these guys in their contracts, they probably have to just play the new product because that's part of having them on a sponsorship deal. It's all about, you know, that sponsor being able to highlight that product and then go out and sell it. So it could be that Bryson doesn't want to play this driver and he's forced to. But if he's not, it really just doesn't make any sense because he could easily just go out and use an old driver and he'd be perfectly fine. So kind of a weird situation going on there. I'm excited to monitor that. It's always something interesting there with Bryson DeChambeau. You might not like him, but it's tough to hate him. Very interesting guy. There's always a storyline there, pretty much. But, you know, Phil Mickelson, too. I want to touch on that. Freaking plus 10. Most likely going to miss the cut here. It had to be a miracle. Just how random of a U.S. Open win was that? That was just crazy. Just want to echo that again. Easily the biggest upset, I guess, if you will, or most random win, if you will, in probably my sports watching life. That was freaking phenomenal there for the U.S. Open there with Phil. But that's enough of me kind of blabbering. Let's get into what you guys came here for. All right, so as always, I do like to do that quick ownership recap. So we'll sort it by actual ownership. So the most owned players ended up being Jon Rahm, Jordan Spieth, Louis Oosthuizen, Matt Fitzpatrick, Xander Schauffele, Daniel Berger, Brooks Koepka, Harris English. So some interesting ownerships there. I was pretty surprised to see Matt Fitzpatrick, Xander Schauffele get top 5 ownerships, especially with some of the other players that were kind of in their price point ranges. But then again, you know, the other players that I liked in those price point ranges are high owned as well. You look at Jordan and Louis, you know, players that I liked. You look at Brooks right there as well. You know, players I like, Patrick Cantlay, Patrick Reed, other players I like. Now, those guys are going to have to step up and make the cut, those last two. But definitely kind of interesting to me to see Berger and those guys, or Fitzpatrick and Xander, get up that high. But overall, you know, pretty accurate. We'll just look at projected versus different. So a lot of people got off of Patrick Reed later on in the night. Kind of interesting there. Terrell Hand as well. You know, maybe people were listening to 9-5 there. We'll see. And, you know, just kind of, you know, it just seemed like a good fade to me personally. But overall, pretty good with the ownership stuff. Just kind of interesting, some of the chalk that came out. And I will say it was very surprising to see Sam Burns be double the ownership of Charlie Hoffman and of Stewart Cink. Even Lucas Herbert, you know, he's more owned than him. I kind of thought that should have been evenly spread out between the four. And then even like Richard Bland is a guy that got on more as the week went on. Kind of just interesting to see Sam Burns get almost double the ownership of those guys. But let's get into kind of the round 1 recap. We're going to pull up the new 9-5 leaderboard. So I kind of streamlined that, put everything all into one spot there for you guys. We'll zoom in here, give a little control zoom. Here, let's zoom it out one more and then shift it over. Yeah, that works. All right. There we go. So yeah, just kind of put it all into one spot. Just easier to use, I think, more user-friendly. But as always, we can just sort it by however we want to. So right now I got it pulled up. We got it by the model rank here, which is nice to see. We can kind of see how the model's doing. So the top 25, let's see how they're doing. So lots of missed cuts apparently, which, you know, kind of happens with majors. A little bit more variance there, but kind of expect Jon Rahm to make the cut. Shane Lowry kind of expect to make the cut. Patrick Reed, Robert McIntyre, they'll probably make the cut. Harris English, wow. Double bogey on 18 really sucked. Charlie Hoffman, you know, probably going to make the cut. But other than that, looking pretty good, guys. I mean, look at that model ranking. So let's just do it. Top 10 in the model. Louis Oosthuizen and Jordan Spieth, both guys that were core plays and high exposure play there with Louis and Jordan. Jordan was the top player in the player pool. Louis, I think, was like the 8th rated player in the player pool. Love to see that. And then you got Stuart Sink, top 20 play. 4th place, Webb Simpson, top 25 play, doing well. Colin Morikawa stepping up. He's doing well, top 10. Scotty Scheffler, top 10. So, you know, the player pool is, or the model is doing pretty well. Player pool, doing all right. Doing all right. Could be doing better, but just kind of interesting there. Something I always like to look at. But let's just get into the round 2 recap and showdown picks. So round 2, it's pretty easy. You can sort it by this now. Round 2 regression. There we go. So round 2 regression. These are the players that are most likely to do well. If you just click on this, you can kind of see the breakdown of this as well. Very simple. And guys, this has been highly predictive. If there's like a shining tool on 9 to 5 sports, there's a lot, to be honest with you guys. But this is really a separation point, I think, for 9 to 5. It's led to a lot of money won. And it's a big edge that you can gain just by using this predictive tool at 9 to 5 sports. It's very simple, pretty much. You can either do by round 2 regression or round 2 showdown rank. Round 2 regression pretty much is targeting the players that have a lot of upside because they're due to have a much better day. Round 2 showdown ranking is factoring in how they did the previous day, how they normally would do in round 2 showdown, and then just like their stat fit, model rank, predictability, and whatnot. It's bringing in all of this. If you just want to look at, hey, these guys had a bad round 1, they're most likely going to play well, you can look at this. So Harris English, no surprise there, guy struggled. Now we got to look at weather ranking. Right now, it seemed kind of even, or it seemed like it was going to be the same weather report as it was today. Softer winds in the morning, but it might get a little bit lighter on later on in the day with the wind as well. So really, it's all about 2 things. How wet are the greens going to be in the morning? How receptive are they going to be? And then how windy is it going to be in the morning? You know, are players going to be able to have a lot of control on their golf ball like those players in the morning tee time wave were able to do? It's very risky. You guys could end up just, you know, going on the lineup builder here and just favoring morning tee times and afternoon tee times, maybe doing 10 builds each for that. Depends on, you know, what you're trying to do, but you could easily do that. But just looking over, Patrick Cantlay, obviously likely to play better. Norn popping up there, most likely to play better. Charlie Hoffman, Carlos Ortiz, that's a little bit shocking to me. Yeah, he didn't play well. That's probably why. Interesting there. John Rahm, he's a guy I wouldn't mind targeting. So like John Rahm, Lucas Glover, Harris English, Patrick Cantlay, Charlie Hoffman, those are some guys I'd probably go out of my way to target with this. Heck, even maybe Daniel Berger I wouldn't mind. And how cool is this, guys? It's kind of an indication of how they're doing. You know, are they cut sweat or not? Cut sweat is yellow. Most likely going to miss. The cut is red. You know, giving you that cut sweat. And then green is like most likely going to make the cut inside the cut line with like Joaquin Niemann here. But let's get into the round 2 ranking now. So round 2 ranking. So let's, did it by round 1 ranking. My bad there. So I'm struggling with the click here. You guys see I'm wearing glasses. That's because my freaking contact prescription is up and I need to get some new ones. So it's been brutal. It's been brutal the last couple of days without contacts. It's an old prescription in the glasses too. So all sorts of stuff going on there. But let's just look at primarily round 2 ranking. Now this is not factoring in weather, tee time, or anything like that. That's something you have to do personally. But Daniel Berger, no surprise there, kind of popping up, good staff hit, good in the model. You know, played all right today. That's perfectly fine. Has a good tee time. First in round 2 ranking, he's probably a guy that you guys should go out of your way to play. Same thing for John Rahm and Charlie Hoffman. They're going to have some favorable tee times. I actually wouldn't mind going Daniel Berger, John Rahm, and Charlie Hoffman to start out my builds. And you're sitting pretty with the round 2 ranking. Justin Thomas is kind of a slow starter normally, so it's no surprise here that round 2 rankings top 25, and he didn't play all that well. He also has a favorable tee time, so let's just look at it. Justin Thomas, Joaquin, or not, I don't know if I want to go Joaquin Niemann. Justin Thomas, Charlie Hoffman, John Rahm, Daniel Berger, 4 players I definitely would like to play in my round 2 showdown builds. We can go lower down from there, kind of just filling in, but I feel really good about those first few ones. If you want to go back to the well with Colin Morikawa, you can, guys. Kind of interesting. So he actually played well. Top 10 right now, and he's still popping up top 15 for round 2 ranking. That's a really good sign, guys. Anytime you can kind of get a guy that's playing well and also ranks out in round 2, it's pretty good, because normally after a good round 1, most of the time they're not going to have as good of a round 2. But this is telling us that Colin Morikawa probably is going to. At least he should have an even round compared to what he did in round 2. So we like to see that. Rory's a guy that might pop. He's another one of those guys really sucks in round 1. He had a round 1 rank of 173, guys. No surprise there that he struggled. And just going back to low with Justin Thomas too, he struggles. And then these two guys, Rory and JT, they definitely go on and play better in round 2. Should have the favorable tee time. Don't mind that route as well. But that's kind of it. So now let's get into, who's most likely to win. And how I like to do this is I like to use this to hedge the bets that we currently have going. So now there's a lot of guys here that won't have round 2 rankings. It's by 2 factors. 1, they're most likely not going to make the cut. But 2, there's a lot of Euros and a lot of Champions Tour players playing this week. So we don't have data on them. So they're not factored into that. So that's why you're just going to have to scroll down a little bit. But let's just look at it. So most likely to win. Louis Oosthuizen popping up there. Okay. Pretty good. Makes sense. He's been dominant really at the majors. Could finally close this out. It went, out of all the majors that he could close out, this would be the one that I think he could do it at. We look at Webb Simpson. Webb Simpson finally played well. He's been really struggling here and there. But when he doesn't, he's really going off. Seems like this is a good week for him. This was a great course for him. I struggled to play him because, he just had been struggling so much. Perfect course for him. So it's nice to see him doing well. Jordan Spieth. And then Stuart Sink as well, guys. So Stuart Sink, 2-time winner. Jordan Spieth's really been popping. Obviously, this is a great course fit for him. He was my outright bet. So if you wanted to hedge your bets, you could go Louis, you could go Webb, you could go Sink if you wanted to go that route. Then also popping up there, Scotty Scheffler. He's a good win player. Decent link style player as well. He's in the top 10. Colin Morikawa. I want Colin Morikawa to win another major. That'd be pretty sweet. Then Paul Casey popping up top 10 as well. We know with Paul Casey, he's a roller coaster ride, so he'll probably end up being a cut sweat tomorrow. Probably shoot +4 and be a cut sweat, make the cut on the number. Wouldn't surprise me at all. I'm not playing him in round 2 Showdown, although they're saying that we should. I don't know. He's just too much of a roller coaster to me. I'm a little bit worried about that. But, I'm just looking at guys. So pretty much 9 to 5 is this ranking here, going back to the predictability of it, from 1st to 12th, 9 to 5's ranking from round 2 Showdown has been highly accurate. I think it's 75% now that's been able to predict the winner. And when it's a stronger field, it's been much more accurate. So I'm assuming that this is going to be a stronger field, as it is. We can tell that it is. So I'm assuming that, we're going to hit the winner here. One of these top 12 guys are going to win pretty much. And it's all about you figuring out personally who you think that player is going to be. But that is all I have for you guys for this video. Kind of a fun one, a little bit more in-depth version of it. But you guys can see that tool at 9 to 5 is going to be much more user-friendly for you, much more easier to handle. Really what I'm trying to do is make all the tools easier for you to use. That's my end-all, be-all goal. And I think that's what I did here with that new tool, what I did with the new cheat sheet. And then, like I said, you guys can plug and play the few players that you want to be on the lineup builder, and you're good to go. All right, that's all I have for you guys for the round 1 Showdown. Round 1 recap and the round 2 Showdown picks. Hopefully the cut sweat goes your way, guys. All right, that's all I have for you. And as always, let's keep cashing.